Hey horror fans, welcome back to Room 237. This is John coming at you with another 80s slasher film review. And surprised I haven't got to this one yet. This one is a big cult classic, probably for one reason only, and I'll get to that. And that is 1983's Sleepaway Camp. And again, sort of like Phenomena, this is just the insert that I put in here because I didn't like the other cover. I like this original one better. So, Sleepaway Camp, yeah, it came out in 83, sort of the peak of slasher films, or the peak had already happened. One of the many summer camp slasher films. And basically, it's kind of hard to talk about, well, it's not really hard to talk about story, but there's one reason people remember this, and that is the ending. The big twist at the end, which of course I'll get to. But, I mean, I guess you really got to explain the beginning, but, the beginning opens up at the summer camp. There's these two young kids that swimming, and then there's this teenagers driving a boat, and they're going too fast. There's an accident. One of the kids gets killed. You see it's a boy and a girl. Then it's some years later, and the girl is the one that survived, and she lives with her cousin Ricky, and their aunt is really fucked up. She's sort of like this Stepford wife, kind of just like, yes, we have to be there by 2:30, or maybe it was 3. That won't be good at all. I don't know if that's an actual line, but it's just. She's very off and strange. So they go to this summer camp that Ricky has gone to for years. And pretty much the camp is just full of asshole counselors and dickhead kids. So the lead girl is Angela, played by Felissa Rose. And she's a very timid, shy, quiet girl. She does a good job because, she just sits there and it's like she's a statue. It's almost like the screen's frozen because she does not move. She does this blank stare, never moves. Her eyes and body language really shows that she's scared and fucked in the head. And like the first hint we get that this summer camp is messed up is you get this big fat guy who's a chef. He's like licking a toothpick, and he's calling all the kids baldies, calling them fresh meat, and the other cooks are kind of laughing at him, calling him sick. He's like a proud pedophile, and actually the older chef, the older black gentleman, that's James Earl Jones' dad, so father of Darth Vader. That's kind of cool. Like there's this one girl that Ricky said he was with last summer. She's a fucking bitch. Just everyone in this movie that is not Angela is an asshole. There's this one scene where, well, I'm not going to go plot point by plot point, but this movie's very low budget. It looks like a movie that should have been forgotten into obscurity years ago, like shortly after its release. And I think without its ending, it probably would have. Because it does have a very strong ending, and that's really all people do remember from it. But, I'm also one that low budget can have great charm to it. And the kills, I think, were pulled off very well. For example, there's a scene where she's given permission to go find something to eat. And the one pedophile guy, he's in like the pantry with her. He's going to try to do stuff with her, but Ricky walks in. So then later on, he's boiling water for corn, and he's standing on a chair, and someone's like pulling the chair out from under him. It's a very long scene, but then when the chair's pulled out, he grabs the pot, and it lands on him. And I mean, the effects look great. I mean, like you see his skin boiling, like you see like it is like blisters forming all over him and on his hands. And his screams sound authentic. Like, that's what someone who just got boiling fucking water poured on him would be like. And I really like the look of the blisters forming on his face and like splitting. And I mean, the deaths, some people could say that there's not much to them. But then again, I mean, by 83, how many slashers were there? And how many summer camp slashers were there? They had to do something. I mean, like, there's this one kid. There's many kids that pick on Angela. And there's one, he's in the bathroom house having a shit. And there's like a screen window above him in the stall. And the killer, you can tell it's a child because they have skinny arms. Cuts a hole in the screen and throws a bee's nest in there. But they block the stall door so he can't get out. And, I mean, I guess he's severely allergic to bees because he's just got boils and welts and just, like, all fucked up looking. I thought that looked great. There's a girl in the shower. She gets stabbed through, like, the curtain. You see the knife go down. Then you get some, like, there's some where some of the teenage boys are taking the girls out in canoes at night. And one scares this one girl by, like, shaking the boat, saying there's, like, water snakes. Boat flips over, she swims away, so then he's underneath the boat listening to his own echo. And then, like, a head pops up. So, like, I'm him, his head pops up back to, and he recognizes the killer, just pushes his head down, he drowns. But I like the look of his body once they find him. And then there's the girl that gets the curling iron up her. Which I kind of like how they did that because it's all about shadows and sound effects. Like you see the going towards her. Then once you hear the she does this weird things like her arms come up like at a weird angle like this but like all the way up. It's like something John Cleese would do. And then there's a scene where, like, this one counselor takes all the really young kids, like the kindergarten, first grade type age kids, out to this separate camp or campsite, like where they sleep in sleeping bags instead of like cabins. And they all say they want to go back, so he goes to start the car, and when he comes back, they're all just fucking dead. They're all like, there's fluff from their sleeping bags and blood everywhere. And I mean, there's like a dozen kids, I think. And, you know, and I think those kids got it because Angela got, like, thrown into the water when she's walking by. Kids are throwing sand at her. It's like, anyone that does something bad to Angela gets killed. But then there's also, like, the two killer theory or, like, the two Rickies. Because, like, when the girl with the curling iron gets killed, we see the killer standing in the doorway in silhouette, but you can kind of make out who it is. Looks just like Ricky. But, you know, obviously it's all Angela. Sometimes you're like, how can she be all over the place? There's this one kid. I can't remember the kid's name. Is it Christopher Collette? Might be. It's the kid from the Manhattan Project in the 80s. He has a thing for Angela. He keeps trying to, like, get laid with her, making out with her. And he's in the very end scene. Which, I mean, like, with Sleepaway Camp, after you talk about the deaths, all that's left to talk about is the ending. And if you haven't seen this, I'm actually going to say spoiler alert, because if you haven't seen this and you don't know the ending, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you're a horror fan, definitely find a way to see it and go see it. So spoiler starting now. The two kids in the beginning of the film, the boy and the girl, it was actually the girl that got killed. And the weirdo aunt in the beginning has always wanted a girl because her child was Ricky, a boy. So she put this child through, not really sex change, but kind of like to the face. And you find out that their parents were gay lovers, or a gay couple, rather, I should say. So Angela asks her boyfriend type character to meet her at the beach. And when they do, she said, let's go skinny dipping. And by this point, they sort of figure out that Angela might be the killer. So they find her down at the beach, and she's like humming and like rubbing the kid's head in her lap. And they say her name. She stands up holding his decapitated head. And there's this great shot. Of course, there's the shot of her, like, which ended up being a CKY album cover. But then it zooms out, and then they have her stunt double. She's the chick with the dick. So, yeah. And I already knew about the twist, because I had seen one of the sequels before this movie, because this was the only one that I could get at the time. I'll talk about this next, probably. And just the way it's filmed, like the shadows, the fact she has a dick, and just like there's like this moan, it's like very creepy. Like I remember just being, I was in my 20s. I was probably like 21 when I saw it, and even then I was just like, that is fucked up. So yeah, that ending can get anybody. Even if you already know what's coming, the way they shoot it is quite well done. But yeah, it has a low budget charm to it. Like the quality of the film. The acting isn't terrible. You do get some great lines. Like there's the softball scene that goes on for a very long time. Ricky, he's got a filthy mouth and a bad attitude. This older kid, and he says something smart ass, and this older kid's like, eat shit and die, Ricky. And he's like, eat shit and live, Bill. So you get some. The acting's not terrible. Some of it is. Like this one girl, the main bitchy girl that's always giving Angela shit. She's like, you're a real carpenter's wet dream, flat as a board and needs a screw. It kind of sounds stupid, but yeah, it just has a low budget charm. The kills, when there actually are effects, I think work out well, and I think they do look great. Like the pedophile with the boiling water, or the kid that's allergic to bees. I think those effects look great, and I will say, I think if it wasn't for the ending, this movie probably would have fallen into obscurity, because people don't even really talk about the kills that much. They talk about that ending, the chick with the dick. And so, yeah, that's why there's not much to say about it. I really do like Sleepaway Camp. I think this is a fun slasher film. I like how the kids are actually kids. It's not like 27-year-olds playing 15-year-olds like in like a Friday the 13th movie. They're actual, 8th, 9th graders or whatever. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp, fun classic slasher film. Definitely one. If you haven't seen it and don't know the ending, definitely pick it up. But anyway, that's Room 237's review of Sleepaway Camp. Thank you.